What's going on, guys? Hudi here with Level Up Gaming, and today we're going to be taking a look at something a little bit different. This is called situational awareness. This is a new video series that I'm starting right now. In this video, this is the first one, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be presenting you with a gameplay scenario. And in this scenario, we're going to give you a few different options on how you could potentially win this round. Okay, and then we're going to go over how the round was actually won. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that like button for me, and head on over to the community Discord. You can find the link down in the description down below, but let's get right to it here, okay? So as you can see, we're playing Killjoy here. We're on Haven, and we're playing the A-bomb site. It is the pistol round. We've actually bought half armor and a couple abilities, so we just have a classic. Now, I'll let the video roll, and I'll pause it when we get to the scenario we want to solve.
Outside garage.
Now, as you can see, we were able to stop the plant the very first time, but the enemy's been able to pick up the bomb and start planting again. Now, in this situation right now, it's 2v4. I've picked up the first kill and my teammate's about to die. That's going to give me a little bit of information so that I know there's a player over there outside garage in the C-Link area, specifically Omen. I also know that there's about 2 players on the bomb site based on the information. Someone's been planting and Sova shot a shock dart, right? That's all I know. I don't know exactly where that 4th player is at right now. Now, there's a couple different ways you can go about solving this problem, okay? This is about to be a 1v4, as I said. So how do I win this? Well, fortunately enough, I'm in a pretty good position to win this gunfight, just from the sheer fact that I'm not in A-Link or C-Link. I have multiple options presented to me. I can walk up mid, I could go through garage if I really wanted to. I could even flank back and go all the way around A if I needed to. I also have a lot of different angles I can play with here to help isolate my enemies and take 1v1 gunfights. That's the big thing when you're clutching up in a 1vx situation, okay? You need to make sure that you're isolating every gunfight that you take as best as you can. That means that you need to be making your gunfights 1v1s instead of 1v2s. And now the best way to do this is to hold angles and purposely peek things in such a way that only one enemy could potentially peek you at a time unless they were really tightly grouped up, potentially giving you the ability to spray them down. So in this situation, I'm going to give you a second. Think about what the best possible play might be to solve this problem. Now let's go over a couple options, okay? And don't be afraid to pause this video and slow it down a little bit and take a look if you need to. The first option is we stay up here in window. We wait to see if any of the enemies challenge us. We hopefully win those gunfights, right? If I'm staying up here in window, I'm going to be holding this right side of the window. The left side of the window would not be a good situation to be in because I have to expose myself to a lot of angles to get there. And if the enemy double peeks me, then I die. And then I have to potentially expose myself to a lot of angles to get back if I need to check garage, right? The only way to check garage from the left side of the window here is to expose myself to the door. So in this situation, if I were to stay in window, I'd stay on the right side of the window here. I'd stay probably back towards the back wall as far as I can, and I would slowly clear angles and wait to see if the enemy peeks me. I would hold garage from over here so that nobody from the door can see me, and then as I peek garage, or as I peek the mid door, I would slowly stay towards the back wall and try to keep my eyes on the garage door to make sure that nobody's peeking me from there, because there's not really any way to safely peek the mid door without being exposed to garage. Fortunately enough, those garage doors make it hard for multiple enemies to peek us at the same time from garage. And now I'm not worried about any enemies flanking me from A because I've got all my equipment there and I haven't heard anything. They could potentially flank me from C, but it would take a while. The other option we have instead of staying in the window would be, in my opinion, the only other valid option that isn't the final solution that we'll go over here in a minute is to push garage, right? Pushing garage potentially allows us to clear out that player we know that's probably going to be in garage. And then we could have the option from there to either fall back and then push mid with the enemy thinking we might be pushing B-Link. That might be a good opportunity for us, okay? So if we push into garage and we get a quick kill, the enemy might start watching or even moving into B-Link here or C-Link here and trying to make sure that we're not coming up through the garage window. And if we are smart about it and we're quiet enough, we might be able to sneak back around and walk up mid, isolate one player on the right side of the bomb site, and then potentially isolate another player on the left side of the bomb site, picking up 2 frags and then hopefully winning the round. Or instead of pushing back out of garage once we're in and going up mid, we could even just attempt to push through the garage with the enemy knowing where we're at, doing our best to attempt to isolate the enemy and win our gunfights. And then the third possible solution is going to be to push down into mid. And by that, I mean actually jump out of the window and down to the right and play in that cubby over there, okay? What this allows us to do is take advantageous angles up into the B bomb site where we could take a gunfight, exposing the least amount of our body as possible, hoping that the enemy doesn't hit us in the head, right? There's always that chance that they headshot us immediately behind the box or something. But in this case, we would jump down into mid. This allows us to isolate the left side of the bomb site, take a 1v1 gunfight there if we need to. It also allows us to isolate the garage doors and peek the garage doors without being exposed to the mid door. This also reduces the amount our body's exposed to the mid door if we're holding garage doors and happen to be exposed to mid as well, since there's a box there to cover us. It also allows us to play the steps right below the window if an enemy happens to be flanking us in window. From there, what we do is completely reliant on the kills that we end up getting, right? So if we're able to pick up a couple kills, maybe one on the bomb site, maybe someone pushes out a garage and we get a kill, that's going to allow us to really take advantage of the situation and push up mid towards the bomb site. The enemy is going to know where we're at. We have to work very hard to make sure that we're isolating the enemy and taking our 1v1 gunfights as best as we can. But we need to make sure we're working fast too, because since the bomb is planted, we only have 45 seconds. And with 45 seconds, you don't really have a lot of time to waste. So let's see the solution here.
Last player standing. Spike planted.
Auf Wiedersehen.
He's super lit.
One enemy remaining.
Now 4.
Last guy sucked.
Yeah, I think they're good.
So as you can see, we do end up winning this round. We actually get all 5 kills this round, so it's a nice ace round that we get on the pistol. Really bring our confidence up for the rest of that game, right? But let's take a look back real quick at how we win this round. So starting from the window when the enemy starts planting the bomb, okay? We decide that we're going to jump out of the window so that we can isolate gunfights as best as we possibly can. So I know now from this situation right here that Sova is on the back right side of the bomb site. So that's at least 2 players on the bomb site. I also know that one is in C-Link because they literally just killed my teammate there. And from the looks of the minimap, it looks like he's pushing into garage. I didn't see that at the time, but I am thinking to myself that that player could potentially be pushing into garage just because of his location of where he killed my teammate. So as you can see, as we jump down into mid, the jet actually peeks us from the back left side of the bomb site. And this is the reason why I jumped down into mid. It allows me to see anybody potentially crossing over from C-Link or to C-Link. It also allows me to isolate and take a 1v1 gunfight with the back of that bomb site. It's very hard for multiple enemies to peek me here unless they peek one in front of the other, in which case they're obstructing each other's view. And it's still essentially a 1v1, although one could get lucky and kill me through their teammate. So I do get a nice headshot on this jet, right? This helps a lot. This makes it a 1v3. This really gets my hopes up in that I could potentially really clutch this out. So I continue to hold this angle and check it because I haven't heard anything to my left. And the Sage actually peeks me and I get a nice dink and then a body shot to take her out too. She does hit me in the head, I believe, and take me down to 71 health here. This is actually potentially very dangerous for me because the Omen peeks me from the left side of mid through the garage doors at the exact same time. I'm able to strafe and hopefully move and dodge the potential headshot perfectly. He runs back to use an ability. As you saw, he uses his blind. I duck into this right cubby here to avoid it, fortunately enough for me, and he peeks me by himself again, and I'm able to pick up that kill. Now, I know it's a 1v1. We don't have a lot of time, maybe 20 seconds, okay? I also know that this player is potentially lit because one of my teammates said it earlier, but I'm not banking on that because you never know. Sova knows where I'm at, so I'm just going to push up, peeking nothing, try to get a reload off, baiting out some shots, trying to pre-fire where he might potentially be hiding at. and faking him out by running to the one side of the bomb site and then going to the other. This is all just mind games at this point. I know my health isn't in the greatest situation, but I know his probably isn't either. Neither of us really have any abilities since it's pistol round, and I know he used a bunch of his darts already. So I'm just trying to make some distractions, get him to move around a little bit and make a mistake, which he does. We end up taking a 1v1 duel against each other, and fortunately enough, I'm able to one-shot him in the chest because he doesn't have a lot of health. I think this video and this actual clip is a great demonstration of how useful it can be to isolate your enemies in 1v1 gunfights if you are able to do it. Now, one way this round could have gone completely different for me and probably ended up in a loss for me is if that Omen either peeked with another player from Garage or the Omen never re-peeked me after the first time. If that Omen had not run back out of Garage and instead had stayed in Garage and potentially rotated up to B, this would have been an incredibly difficult round for me to win because Sova and Omen could have set up a crossfire on A-Link and C-Link and waited for me to come in and potentially start defusing the bomb. With not much time left, they would have peeked me from both sides and I probably would have died. Maybe I could then push up into the bomb site if they're both alive and try to clear out one of the links, fake the defuse, and then get a kill on the second guy. But it would have been a lot more risky with a lot less time left. A big part of clutching up in Valorant rounds, especially in 1vx situations, is allowing your opponents to make mistakes and forcing their hands on certain mistakes. You picking up a kill or two makes the other opponents antsy, makes them feel like they need to do something. And a lot of the times they'll end up peeking you in a bad situation, giving you an opportunity to win. So make sure you're taking advantage of those opportunities, but also make sure that you're not wide swinging angles and exposing yourself to too many players at a time if you really do want to potentially win that round. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it's really helpful. I think these videos are potentially really insightful into how I approach and think about 1vx situations or even 2 or 3vx situations, depending on what kind of videos we end up doing with this in the future. Just my mindset, what I think about it, and how I approach these situations and, you know, how I could potentially win them. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and if you're interested in joining the Level Up Gaming Discord community, the link is down in the description down below.